Hey, I have a question for you.
Of course, what do you need to know?
I want you to tell me where he was born and when, and give me a biography of Nicolas Maduro because I'm curious.
Nicolas Maduro Moros was born in Caracas, Venezuela, on November 23, 1962. He is the current president of Venezuela and has had a very active political career. Before becoming president, he was a bus driver and union leader. Then, he got involved in politics and held several important positions, including Minister of Foreign Affairs and Vice President, before assuming the presidency in 2013, after the death of Hugo Chavez. Would you like to know more about any specific aspect of his life or career?
Yes, I would like to know more, yes.
Since he assumed the presidency, Maduro's government has faced major economic and political challenges. His presidency has been marked by hyperinflation, shortages of basic goods, massive protests, accusations of authoritarianism, and a humanitarian crisis that has led millions of Venezuelans to emigrate. Do you want me to delve into any of these topics?
I wanted to ask you, what was his profession before entering politics?
Before entering politics, Maduro was a bus driver and a union leader. It is also known that in his youth, he was the bassist for a rock band called Enigma.
Okay, and how of another important question, how did he learn about Chavez? How did he meet Hugo Chavez?
Maduro met Chavez in the early 1990s when Chavez was leading the Bolivarian Revolutionary Movement 200 and Maduro was a young political activist. They met in a context of political activism and social struggle in Venezuela. Their relationship quickly strengthened due to their shared ideology and commitment to the Bolivarian movement. Maduro became one of Chavez's closest collaborators, and their relationship lasted until Chavez's death in 2013.
Okay, and the political positions he held after he met Chavez, what were they?
After meeting Chavez, Maduro had a very active political career. He was a member of the National Constituent Assembly, a deputy, president of the National Assembly, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and vice president before becoming president in 2013. Do you want to know more about any of these positions?
Yes, to become president, what happened? How did he become the president of Venezuela?
Maduro became the president of Venezuela in 2013 after the death of Hugo Chavez. As vice president at that time, he assumed the position of interim president and then won the presidential elections that same year. Do you want to know more about the elections or the transition period after Chavez's death?
Yes.
The death of Chavez in March 2013 was a crucial moment in Venezuelan politics. Chavez had designated Maduro as his preferred successor before passing away. Maduro assumed the interim presidency and then won the presidential elections in April 2013 by a narrow margin. The elections were highly contested and generated controversy, with accusations of irregularities and fraud from the opposition. Do you want me to tell you more about the elections or the reaction to the results?
Yes, tell me more.
The 2002 to 2013 elections were very close and generated a lot of political tension. Maduro won by a narrow margin, but the opposition led by Enrique Capriles did not recognize the results. He announced fraud. There were protests and demonstrations throughout the country, and the situation became very polarized. Do you want me to tell you more about the protests or the political situation at that time? Y estén pues y 5 que 100.
Yes.
Maduro has been a very controversial figure. His supporters see him as the heir to Chavez's legacy and a defender of 21st century socialism. His critics accuse him of being a dictator who has led Venezuela to economic and social ruin. You want to know more about the government's policies or the accusations against it?
Yes, I want to know what were the policies, the programs that were implemented during the government of Maduro that have been implemented and how that has harmed Venezuela.
During Maduro's government, a series of policies and social programs have been implemented, such as the Bolivarian missions, which aim to improve the living conditions of the population. However, these policies have not been enough to counteract the economic crisis facing the country, characterized by hyperinflation, food and medicine shortages, and the fall of the GDP. Do you want me to explain any of these policies or their consequences in more detail?
Yeah, I would like to know, for example, how Maduro's government has affected Venezuela's economy. I have an idea, but I want you to tell me.
The Maduro government has had a very negative impact on Venezuela's economy. Since he took power, the country has experienced extremely high hyperinflation, shortages of food and medicine, and a huge drop in oil production, which is the country's main source of income. Some economists say that Maduro's policies, such as price controls and excessive money printing, have worsened the situation. Others blame external factors, such as international sanctions. Do you want me to explain any of these policies in detail?
Yes, no, wait. It's just that a question stayed in my mind and I want you to answer it. For example, what is the current situation of human rights in Venezuela under his rule? Because I know that he is a dictator, and I want you to tell me, I mean, in your opinion, what do you think? How is that going?
The human rights situation in Venezuela is very concerning. International organizations and governments have denounced arbitrary detentions, torture, lack of freedom of expression, and attacks on the opposition. The Maduro government does not acknowledge these accusations and argues that they are smear campaigns against it. Do you want me to look for some recent reports on this situation?
Yes.
According to the UN and other organizations, the human rights situation in Venezuela is very serious. Arbitrary detentions, torture, lack of freedom of expression, and attacks on the opposition are reported. Maduro's government does not acknowledge these accusations and says they are campaigns to discredit them. Do you want me to find some recent reports on this?
Yes.
As we have mentioned, the human rights situation in Venezuela is very concerning. Organizations like the United Nations and Human Rights Watch have published detailed reports on political repression, lack of judicial independence, and difficulties in accessing food and medicine. Would you like me to share some links to these reports for you to review?
No, I won't know. I want you to answer a question for me. How is Maduro's relationship with other international leaders and governments? How do you see it?
Maduro's relations with other leaders and governments are quite tense. Many countries in Latin America and Europe do not recognize his legitimacy as president and consider him a dictator. The United States, for example, has very strong economic sanctions against his government. However, Maduro has the support of other countries like Cuba, Russia, China, and Iran. Do you want to know more about Venezuela's relations with any specific country?
Yes, with China's.
The relations between Maduro and China are quite strong. China is one of Venezuela's main trading partners and has granted it multi-million-dollar loans. In return, Venezuela sells oil to China at preferential prices. Some analysts believe that this relationship is beneficial for both countries, while others consider it a form of economic dependency. Do you want to know more about the trade agreements between Venezuela and China?
Yes, look, I have a question for you. How do you see the future Maduro's political situation in his government at this moment?
Maduro's political future is uncertain. On one hand, he maintains control of the government and has the support of some sectors of the population as well as important international allies. He significantly decreased in recent years, but he still has a significant core of support. Are you interested in knowing more about opinion polls in Venezuela?
Yes.
Venezuelans have very divided opinions about Maduro. Some see him as a strong leader who defends the country from foreign attacks and protects social programs. Others blame him for the economic crisis and consider him a dictator who represses the opposition. Polls show that his popularity has dropped significantly in recent years, but he still has a significant group of followers. Do you want me to find some of those polls for you?
No, that's fine. But how do you perceive him? How do you perceive Maduro?
Some see him as a strong leader and others consider him a dictator. He is a very controversial figure. Do you want us to talk about the reasons why he generates such strong opinions?
Yes, let's talk about that.
Maduro generates mixed opinions for various reasons. His supporters highlight his social policies and his firm stance against the United States. His critics, on the other hand, accuse him of being a dictator who represses the opposition, of the economic crisis, and of corruption. Do you want me to explain any of these reasons in detail?
No, it's fine, it's fine. I'm clear now with what you've told me. I'm clear. Nothing. Thanks for answering that question I asked you. And at any moment when another curiosity comes to my mind about knowing something from another country, I'll let you know again. You hear?
You're welcome. It has been a pleasure talking with you. Feel free to contact me if you have more questions. See you later.
You already know. That's what people think of Maduro, and I think they're right. See you in another little video. Onward.